Number 1. aespa's Ningning. Maintaining a low weight mass has always been among the top priorities of idols, and an inextricable part of their job to be more exact. Because according to the common belief, the thinner one is, the more beautiful they will become. However, that proves to not always be true, since everyone has a different type of body frame, and thus, there's always a certain weight range that determines how good a person would look when losing weight. Luckily, Ningning understands her figure well enough, so just in the span of 1 year, she has managed to shred away the unnecessary weight to come out more stunning than ever. In retrospect, lots of netizens had ganged up on Ningning and called her a visual hole, accusing her of not knowing how to manage her body despite being a famous idol. Some didn't even hesitate to point out specific things like her body was too bloated, arms were too big, face was too chubby, and facial features weren't as defined as expected, especially as expected of a rookie idol of a visual-centric company like SM Entertainment. Being under too much pressure, Ningning opted for a healthier diet, helping her gradually and steadily lose weight, rather than being on a yo-yo mode. People started to notice how her figure had got slimmer around the Next Level era, but it wasn't until most recently, when aespa went on their Savage promotion, that topics admiring the slim physique of Ningning mushroomed more online. As netizens pointed out, her facial features stood out way sharper than in the past, and especially the loss of buccal fat has made her overall visual more classy with a V-line face. Back in June, when the girls were still in the promotion for Next Level, Ningning had made headlines for having such an impressive body ratio that when standing in front of the photo wall, this ratio stood out even more, thanks to the grid pattern of the background that acted as a ruler. Not only that, the article also said that thanks to the round and short face structure, Ningning looked even more stunning than Karina in this pic, because it helped her appear more youthful, while Karina looked a bit mature for her age. In recent photos of aespa at SBS Gayo Daejeon and MBC Gayo Daejeon, people were also shook to see how her legs were even slimmer than Winter's. While that seemed like a bit of an exaggerated reaction, it's actually not at all, because since Winter has always been the slimmest member out of the four, the fact that Ningning managed to have such slim legs compared to Winter in just 1 year really took people off guard. Even when standing next to other renowned visuals, like IVE's Yuchin and Wonyoung, Ningning was still said to be equally gorgeous, thanks to her defined and mature visuals, as well as her healthy figure. In a picture, netizens even found the visual of Ningning a bit more appealing than Winter, because they saw in her a strong charisma and stage presence, along with the S-line body frame, with the fat distributed evenly and apparent curves. In fact, after her weight loss, there were lots of threads on the internet discussing how Ningning should have been the center of aespa, and also the visual of the group. Number 2. aespa's Giselle. Besides Ningning, Giselle has also been a hot topic on the internet, of course for all the good reasons, after shedding some weight. When she first debuted, lots of netizens said that Giselle wasn't a good piece of aespa visual-wise. Some said that her face was bigger than the standard of South Korea, and in relation to her facial features, it also made them look way smaller and not attractive. Her figure was also said to be too chubby for a K-pop idol, and as the Black Mamba promotion required the girls to constantly wear tight, short costumes, the criticism pointing at Giselle's appearance became more intense. However, netizens have changed their mind 180 degrees about Giselle after seeing her obvious glow-up recently. Back in February 2021, there was even a long thread on Pan titled, "What exactly has changed about aespa's Giselle?" because her visual suddenly struck the OP as uncannily stunning. People believed lots of the changes in Giselle's visual actually came down to how she managed to lose a fair amount of weight, get rid of the buccal fat, slim down her face to perfectly fit the V-shaped jawline standard of South Korea, and as a result of her hard work, other facial features also stood out more. Her eyes seemed bigger and her lips looked fuller. Probably for the time to come, with the inherent high-fashion visual accompanied by such a figure, Giselle would soon become the next fashion icon of K-pop Gen 4. In fact, considering how lots of people have been saying they saw a staggering similarity in the visual of Giselle and Crystal, and recently Crystal has been chosen to be the first ever global ambassador of Charles & Keith, thanks to her icy, classy visual, it's very likely that Giselle would soon bag the global ambassador for a big fashion house down the road. Number 3. Red Velvet's Irene. While Ningning and Giselle were praised for their weight loss, Irene faced the exact opposite situation. During the online concert SM Town Live 2022, SM CE Express at Kwangya, there was one thing that ticked people off, which is how Irene looked less vibrant and stunning than usual due to her drastic drop in weight. As one of the top visuals of Gen 3 idols, and more often than not, Irene was even used as a reference point to assess the visuals of other idols. Many were shook to see how she suddenly looked so lifeless and bony. There was even a post on Pon dedicated only to discussing the latest appearance of Irene, and in the comment section, some even wondered if the famous beauty icon of SM Entertainment had finally passed her time and yielded to the competition with time. Especially at moments where the camera zoomed up close to Irene's face, netizens couldn't help but whining about how her chin has become unnecessarily too pointy. Her cheeks were too sunken. And when Irene smiled, the nasolabial folds just unpleasantly stood out and downgraded her visual. What's even odder about her visual, according to some, was that they just couldn't understand how Irene could lose weight in such a short span of time. Because when Red Velvet performed at MBC Gayo Daejeon on December 31st, she still stirred up the internet for the ever-classy and youthful appearance. Number 4. Golden Child's Choi Bomin. Similar to Irene, Bomin also attracted more negative reactions from the public, because his post-weight loss image was so lifeless and awkward that people even thought they were looking at two different people of two different generations. Rising up as the potential face through the web drama 18, Bomin used to melt the hearts of many girls for his boyfriend material image, the bright eyes and the smile as sweet as candy. Not only that, he also had the unique snake-shaped face that people have currently been crazy over after Karina's visual surfaced on the internet as a huge phenomenon. However, after a short hiatus from the music industry, Bomin returned and immediately garnered all the attention, but unfortunately, for all the bad reasons. While he used to look super healthy and sweet, people noticed Bomin had lost tons of weight, and all the fat on his face had disappeared to the point that his chin awkwardly stood out. While having a small head is always a plus point for an idol's visual, Bomin's case proved the total contrary, because he only appeared tired and exhausted with this new face. Some said that his eyes seemed like they were artificially pulled closer and more sunken. Bomin's skin was also said to be somewhat soggy, probably because of the strict diet. In a post discussing Bomin's recent visuals, lots of netizens complained that they couldn't recognize the boy they used to know, as well as expressing concern about his sudden change in appearance. Number 5. Winner's Jinwoo. Similar to Bomin, Jinwoo's weight loss also received negative reactions because netizens believed, though he has never been thin, ever since the debut of Winner, the fact that he dropped so much weight in such a short span of time has taken a toll on his skin and overall image. When he was still active in Winner, there were multiple times he got into the list of most handsome male idols. And even among his members, Jinwoo was always famous for having no dead angles, no matter how odd the camera position pointing at him was. However, after some photos of him serving in the military surfaced on the internet in April 2020, and some noticed that he had put on some weight, though they had nothing against his new image, Jinwoo probably became more conscious about his weight and tried to shred it through a strict diet. That's why, upon his latest appearance on Family Register Mate, netizens have expressed their disappointment in his visuals, because they never thought he would look this old in a matter of months. Probably as a result of a severely strict diet, his skin also became soggy, and even when he didn't smile, the nasolabial fold still stood out apparently. Because Jinwoo's nose is extremely high, some also noticed how his eyes seemed to be intensely pulled closer after the weight loss. And though his cheeks weren't terribly sunken, they believed his high cheekbones still made him appear more lifeless and exhausted. Besides the idols who receive praise for losing weight, do you think the rest deserve such criticism? Comment down below to share your thoughts with us. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe to BeBoss TV for more interesting K-pop content. Thank you for watching.